Do I have a solid business plan here? So on this channel, you guys know that I have multiple businesses that run primarily online. In this video, I'm going to show you guys a new business that I've been trying out and thinking about scaling, but wanted to just go over the complete business plan here on the channel before I get too deep into this business because I think it could be a pretty good one. So before we dive into the business plan, I just wanted to tell you guys kind of what it is. It's basically a restaurant supply business, mostly supplying to-go containers that have become increasingly popular. And I just see the restaurant trend going more into go orders. Already we've seen a ton of restaurants have apps where basically you just order on the app and you go to the restaurant and just pick it up so you don't have to wait. And then obviously like DoorDash and things like that all require these to-go containers. So I think they're just trending upwards, and supplying restaurants with these on a recurring basis at a good price, I think could be a great business model. So let's dive into the computer here and I'll show you guys just a very brief business plan that I wrote up. Okay, here we are. So nothing fancy here. We just got Google Slides going, and I've never done like a business plan pitch to anyone or anything, but I do think this helps when you're initially starting out any kind of business or even like a side hustle. So just writing it out and kind of going over something like this for a business plan to see if it actually makes sense, I think help. Restaurant supply biz, let's get into it. First slide, we're just going to talk about the general business plan here. Basically our mission statement here, not really a mission statement, but just the core of the business is supply restaurants with to-go containers cheaper than they're currently getting them. So essentially just reaching out to restaurants, and the sales call is going to go something like this. Hi, I'm Jack with Restaurant Supply Co. We offer cheap to-go containers in bulk for your restaurant. Let me know if you have 30 seconds to hear about our prices for our containers to see if we can beat the prices that you guys are getting your containers at right now. And essentially, it's a pretty easy sale. If they say they're getting their to-go containers at 60 cents per container, and I can give it to them for 50 cents per container, pretty easy sale. Should be a no-brainer for them to save 10 cents per every container. And then with my business, it's also flexible. So if I'm normally selling, at 60 cents and I can cut into my margins a little bit to get them as a customer, I might do that. So that's the first step here. Second step with this business plan and slideshow is that I have proof that this actually works because I've already got one client already who has ordered something and then has reordered as well. So pretty good start here, and I haven't really made too many calls about this at all. So the third kind of just rule of this business plan is you need to have a 50+% profit margin. So basically, if I'm getting these containers at 20 cents per container, I need to sell them for at least 40 cents per container, or I don't think it's really worth the time, especially moving forward when I want to scale this. And lastly, it's going to be really important to get monthly or bi-monthly recurring deals. So people that order 1,000 of these containers every single month or every other month, or I guess it could be even every quarter, so every 3 months. Because if you don't have these recurring deals set up as well, it's just not going to be as profitable because you're going to have to keep finding new restaurants every single month. And then the fifth one is to just scale this as big as possible. So let's dive into the proof that this actually works. So I already got my first sale. Sold 500 small containers for 19 cents a pop to a restaurant. I found them online for 6 cents. So I have various different websites where I can go to find these containers in bulk. And essentially, when I went to sell this, I didn't have these containers. I had a couple options for them, and I think it was actually 9 cents per container, but you can work with these suppliers when you're buying stuff in bulk to get them for cheaper. I would have got it for 9 cents, but worked with the supplier to get it for 6 cents on an order of 500. So that's only $65 in profit, which is not great. Even if they order 500 every month, not great. But let's move on to proof that this works, part 2. Actually, after that order, instead of ordering just 500, they ordered 1,500 more. I guess 500 was just kind of like a sample for them. So they ordered 1,500 more at 19 cents again. And I got them from 6 cents again. And this was $195 in profit for a month. And basically, they want this as a monthly order. I forget what they said they were getting their containers at, but it was higher than 19 cents. So this is a good deal for them, good deal for me as well. And basically, I just went out and found a very similar product to what they were describing and was able to send them over some pictures of what these containers are and the exact dimensions to make sure this is, exactly what they wanted, and locked in the second order as well. So $195 every single month moving forward, as long as they stick with me here. Proof that this works part 3. They also now want 2,000 big containers. So they trusted me on the sample order of 500. They went with 1,500. Now asked me, I didn't even ask them about bigger containers that they have. So the first containers were like smaller, like soup containers, 10 ounces. And now they want the big ones, basically for like entire meals. So I worked with them on price for this. I found them at 20 cents, something they were describing. They thought that that was a good price, and I don't even think they told me the price they were giving them at, but I said, how about 49 cents? So a little over 50% profit margin, right? 50% would be 40 cents. So the profit margin, maybe it's like 60 to 70% on these ones, so pretty good as well, but higher price amount, so making more money and more in the order at 2,000. So 480 in profit for this, what they need every single month. So part 4 here, right now we got one restaurant on the books here that ordered this past month and is ready to order for the next month as well. This one restaurant is going to make me $675 per month. And basically, to scale this, if I can just get 8 restaurants to do the same exact deal, that's $5,400 per month or $65,000 per year. And essentially, after I get these 8 restaurants on the books, ordering these every single month, it's very minimal work. I just got to work with my supplier, make sure that all the orders are coming through on time, getting to them on time, and we can lock in like a good price and essentially lock in $65,000 per year, $5,400 per month. And that's just getting 8 restaurants to agree to this. So in under a week, I was able to get one restaurant. I haven't been going hard on the sales because I've been trying to figure out the logistics of this before I get too many of these restaurants, and then all of a sudden, maybe I get like 5 restaurants signed up and something with the suppliers are messing up. So I want to make sure that this first restaurant goes well before I start adding on more restaurants. But if I can get to 8 restaurants, $65,000 a year, that's not too many restaurants. All right, so now to scale this, right? How are we going to scale it? I mean, I'm just going to have to make tons of calls to restaurants. I think I may add less than 20 calls to local restaurants to get this first deal. So if I can make 20 calls a day and land one restaurant, maybe even make 50 calls a day to land one restaurant every day, should be able to scale this to conservatively 8 restaurants on a similar deal of $675 per month. And the second thing is, I just mentioned that I was making local calls. I realized this doesn't have to be local. I thought that I was going to have to order a sample of this to-go container and take it into the restaurant and show them and all this, but it was good enough with a picture and the dimensions that I sent them. So I realized this doesn't have to be local. I can do this any city in the United States that I want to. So that definitely helps the scale of this as well. And then the third step is going to be hire sales call reps. So I don't want to be making 50 phone calls every day and just do that every single day. So hiring sales call reps, if we can hire 5 of them to make 50 calls a day, that's 250 calls a day versus me just making 50. And at the end, I'll kind of dive into what I think would be a good idea for these sales call reps, but we'll get into that later. And then fourth would be hire a supply manager, basically train someone to deal with these suppliers, getting the best deals that we possibly can, and actually making and placing the orders and making sure they arrive on time to the restaurant that they need to be at. But that would be pretty far down the line, as well as sales calls reps. First, you got to get to 8 restaurants doing this every month before we even get to step 3, and then 4 even further down the line. So here we get into a little bit about what I think these roles could be. So the sales role, basically they would just own a territory and train them on how to find restaurants that fit the mold of using a ton of supply containers, and then how to find their phone numbers and emails to be reaching out to these businesses to try to sell them on that. And then 2, ideally this would be 100% commission based. So, if the person wanted to work 1 hour on Monday and they wanted to work 4 hours on Tuesday and they wanted to work 10 hours on Wednesday, they could ideally do that and just work however many hours they want. It'd be 100% commission based. That's why we need 50% or higher profit margins. And I think we could give the salesperson 50% the profit they bring in. So like $675 for that first deal. If one of the sales reps was able to bring that in, they'd basically be getting like $340 for that deal. If they can close 3 deals a week, they'd be making $1,000 a week. Plus, then you could lower the commission on recurring. So for their first order with that client, they get 50%, and then maybe after that they get 25%. So if they get one restaurant to sign up, they're going to make money on that restaurant every month. They continue to make orders, for basically the lifetime. All right, then the second position here, supply manager. They would be paid on commission as well. And essentially how this would work is once the salesperson makes the sale, they contact the supply manager. So sales makes a sale, contacts the supply manager to basically write in the order. Supply manager then actually orders the product and makes sure that the product gets to them in a timely manner, on time, actually is delivered, all of that. And once that happens, they also get commission on each successful order. And this is why we definitely need to have a higher than a 50% profit margin on the original sale, because already sales is going to take 50% off the top of the profit we're left with after that. And then the supply manager would probably take another 15% of that profit. And hopefully by the time that this business actually needs a supply manager, they would be, locking in 5 to 10 deals every single day. All right, and that's all I have for you guys on the restaurant supply biz. So it's already started off pretty well. Had to make sure that this was a scalable business and make sure that the supply side of this is all figured out before I try to scale it. But wanted to share with you guys an idea I had for a business, got a little proof that this could work, and see how we could possibly scale it down the line. So if you guys enjoy content like this, definitely subscribe to the channel, check out some other videos, and we'll see you in another one.